You know, I guessed that you would be the only one who would dare to come here. You've got courage.
Yo, the Getcho podcast crew is in the building.
Yeah.
That's right. You got your homie Just here.
Yeet.
Yeet, of course, my homie, always here, always glad to see him.
Yo. What's up, Just?
What's up? We back in the building. You know how it is. We live, right, in Chi-Town. Of course, you know what I'm saying? We had to ask one of our homies, you know what I'm saying, from the debate Circle Debate Club Network, Wrestling Delorean. Mike De Niro is in the house.
Hey.
Was good.
Tell him how you feeling, man.
Doing good, man. I'm so happy to be a part of this. Thank you so much for having me.
For sure. You know how we do. 1.121 gigawatts, you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
But yeah, guys, I gotta ask how y'all feeling today. There's been a lot that has happened in the wrestling week. We good?
You know what? I've been feeling a little bit like CM Punk, getting that Z-Pack treatment. I had to go get to the Minute Clinic over there at Target. Got some antibiotics. Got an inhaler too. I'm out here like sounding like Stevie from Malcolm in the Middle too.
Hell.
So aside from that, I'm pushing through. I'm a fighter.
Okay. So kind of having a Jordan S flu game.
Yeah.
Situation?
You could say. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what's up, homie Kyle? Apron bump. What's good? Shout out to you, homie. But yeah, guys, we're gonna start this off the way we always start this off. What type of wrestling fan were you this past week? I'm gonna give this to our guest real quick. Mike, how you been feeling? What type of wrestling fan you been?
I was a curious wrestling fan. There was a lot of talk going into the weekend about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling and Scott D'Amore's new venture, especially after he left TNA the way he left TNA. And I gotta say, those were two of the best shows that anyone put on in the last year. For both, I believe, I forgot the name of the show. I just know it was Maple Leaf. Like, the card was stacked. You had talent from New Japan. You had talent from TNA. You had talent from AEW. A lot of good talent. Kenosuke Takeshita versus Josh Alexander was a banger. And then night one with Mike Bailey. They killed it. It was a great show for their first two shows. So I was curious going into it, seeing how it was going to turn out. It turned out to be an absolute banger. And then Monday, hey, I know a lot of people hating on it, right? But I'm very happy with what's going on with the Bloodline and WWE and Monday Night Raw. Just because, that OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline Civil War is something that we've been needing. For a little bit, it looked like we weren't going to get it because I'm like, how are they going to get Jay on SmackDown? But now we see the path, and I'm very excited to see it.
Oh, for sure. I agree, man.
Facts.
I think they're just ignoring the brand split at this point until Survivor Series. And that's the path. That's the path. And honestly, like I'm with you too, man. We'll talk about it when we get to winners and losers, but it's picking up. They added some sazon to the storyline for sure.
Yes. What about you, Poppy? What kind of wrestling?
For me, I've been an obese wrestling fan, and I don't mean like physically. I meant in terms of my consumption, because I've been just eating and overeating and over consuming all the wrestling products. Because obviously we got Raw, we got SmackDown, but I've actually been watching some AEW. I didn't get a chance to watch today's episode, but I will be watching it later on. Obviously, you got the PLEs coming up with Halloween Havoc. And then you also got Crown Jewel. I finally got to get around to watching the Vince doc. So that led me down to a rabbit hole of going into watching other docs. So I watched the CM Punk documentary, the one from the DVD. Then I watched some of the Eddie stuff. And then before I knew it, I was watching like some Ruthless Aggression era stuff from like 2006. So I'm like, you know what? This ain't half bad. It
was a good era.
It's a good era.
Yeah, it's a good era. Very good era.
Shout out to Ethan Page. We acknowledging you, homie. We acknowledge you.
No. I'm with you. Okay, so feel me here. So the type of wrestling fan I was this week was kind of a buzzkill type of wrestling fan, right? Ooh. It's like, when you go to a party with your friends, right? And of course, the drinks is flowing, the shots is going. That's similar to the lane of what's happening in wrestling right now. Like Mike said, you guys said the bloodline thing, right? Gunther, Cody, right? MLP. Also, New Japan had a thing. So those are all the shots that you're taking with your friends. You're feeling good, like a good drunk, right? But then the buzzkill part, right? The part where you have to wait an hour for your Uber, the part where you have to take care of your friend
Mm.
that's throwing up in the bathroom, the part that like somehow somebody took your wallet and then now they left a tab at the bar. Now you gotta cover the tab, right? Even though you had nothing to do with that. That type of buzzkill was seeing wrestling in areas that I didn't want it to see it, right?
Okay.
I'm not gonna say the person's name, but we all know who had a podcast with Mark Calloway,
Oh,
right? Talking about wrestling, right? Like you were interviewing Mark about wrestling stuff. What do you know? And then you had Pierce Morgan had a gang of people talking about Vince McMahon's documentary, which like led to just a bro fest, right? Charlie Caruso was on there. You have Maven on there of all people. You know
Maven?
what I'm saying?
Damn.
Like wrestling didn't need to be there. You know what I'm
Those are like
saying?
the
We
most
didn't
random
need to
people
have
they
these
just put together.
conversations. Right, right.
Yeah.
And you're only helping the people who hate wrestling hate it more. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a buzzkill for me. But
Okay.
my spirits are lifted because the three of us are here and we get to talk about the things that we like.
Hey. I was
So
just about to comment too when you were talking about your whole little like bar scenario stuff about like your like friend that's throwing up and then the missing wallet and the tab. I'm like, that was oddly specific. Just I'm like, is that something that actually happened to you? Because it's
listen,
okay if
listen. I
it,
can't say that happened, but let's just say I had to cut up that credit card the next day.
it's one of those evenings. I see.
It was one of those. The bank is calling me. Hey, did you pray? I was like, oh yeah, about
Can you
that.
confirm that this is you?
um,
But yeah, I can't say that actually happened or not. But what did happen is shit that happened during the wrestling week. So winners and losers. Okay, I think we'll start off the way Mike was going. Right, you were talking about Raw. Right, we'll start off there. So winners and losers for you.
Winners, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, once again, IC champion.
Ooh.
As much as I like the moment that Jay got for winning that title and finally winning a singles champion, I didn't think Braun Breaker's time should have came up that quickly. I think Braun Breaker is going to be a big, big star, and I want to see him continue to elevate. So definitely Braun Breaker is a winner for me. And Jacob Fatu is a big winner because Jacob Fatu has nothing but aura. And when that man showed up on
Yes.
Raw and he went face to face with Braun Breaker, it was like a holy shit moment for me. So definitely Jacob Fatu is a winner for sure.
oh, for sure.
Facts. Like that. What about you, Poppy?
Okay. Well, for me, I gotta give a quick loser. It's got to go to Jay because he finally was like in the confines of the storyline. He finally got away from like the bullshit and the messiness of the bloodline stuff. He
Mm-hmm.
built his own like momentum over on Raw and won the championship. Yeah, he had his brother show up and try to like recruit him on Monday last week, but he had no reason to show up on SmackDown. Like that's not even your show, bro. Like like no one called you out. No one even called you out. And then you go over there and you get in Solo's face, and then you go ahead and get really spicy with Jacob Fatu talking about you gonna knock him out if he keeps staring at you like that. So then you fast forward over to Raw on Monday, and then that whole interaction, your one decision to go over to SmackDown, cost you your title because like they wouldn't have
Ooh, I
shown
love
up
it.
if you didn't show up. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm
I
kind of like
see
right
that.
there. I'm right there with it. And in terms of winners, I gotta give it to Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. The Metal
Mm.
Girls have been popping up on SmackDown, NXT, and Raw. They had a really good showing against Damage Control, but they keep showing up in the crowd and they're slowly building up their stock and their momentum in the power rankings over there on main roster. I wouldn't be surprised if they just like never reunite with Noam Dar and
Right.
and Aura Mensa, and then they just
Yeah.
become a tag team on the main roster. But
Word.
kudos to them. I think they're big winners recently.
Oh, facts, dude, facts. And to be honest, like, yeah, it was cool with them doing with the whole thing with what was their group called?
Metaphor.
It was like, yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
Metaphor,
metaphor.
right. It was cool, but yeah, you definitely want them to like to grow and to do their own thing now.
Hmm.
Obviously, they're very capable. Um, of course, I'm gonna have to address it, right? The big story, right? The big loser is us losing the voice of Samantha Irvine, right?
Oh, dude, I almost forgot
Yeah,
about
I
that.
forgot about that too. God.
Huge,
I'm still in
huge.
mourning.
I know, right? Everyone's brokenhearted, right? Because other than like maybe Howard Finkel, can I think of like an announcer that throws more sazon, more sauce on just a person's name?
I
I mean, yeah,
mean,
Lillian Garcia did her thing, Justin
yeah,
Roberts did her thing, but she just had a little bit more flavor. You know what I'm saying? She had a lot more swag with the Lucid Kaiser. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she
yeah.
did more things with just the way
She
she
was very
announced stuff.
creative for sure.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Chelsea
especially with her
Green.
time too.
Yeah.
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 Hell, you
And
know
the
what?
fact that she was only there for 3 years too, like I thought she was there longer than that. It was shorter.
I thought it was
Um,
longer, a longer stint than that for sure. I don't even remember when she
yeah,
got started. To be honest with you, she just randomly spawned. You know.
uh huh, for real,
There's some smoke
for
around there. All
real,
of a sudden, she appeared.
dude, exactly, man. It's
Yeah,
like,
she
oh,
appeared.
okay.
Like there was a gong, the lights went out, and then she just showed up like in ringside.
Word.
In terms of creativeness, man, I want to give a quick shout out to Tony Chimmel, especially when he was doing that rated R
Oh
superstar.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
True.
quick shout out to Tony Chimmel. Bring him back,
Shout
man.
out, shout out to Tony Chimmel.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's a loser for us. But of course, I'm pretty sure she's gonna find great things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, winner though, winner though. I know I'm gonna combine what all y'all said. Jacob Fatu definitely is a winner. He is the top person to swipe right on Tinder right now. Like he had Braun checking him out. He
Yeah,
had Jay checking him out, right? He's like the number one option in terms of like feuds. Like a lot of people can build feuds with him, right?
yeah,
And
for
that just
sure.
goes to show that how much of a talent Jacob is, right? He doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything. It's just, what the IWC always use. He has that aura. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Mike said
Um,
that perfectly. The aura.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Mike. What you got?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of losers. You guys named a good amount. Definitely, Jay. I thought that they were going to give him a longer
Oh,
title run, right?
yeah,
And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like I said, I'm glad it's back on Breaker, and I don't think that they should have took it from Breaker to begin with. But I feel like, yeah, like Vince said, Jay inserted himself into this whole thing. Like the domino effect has led him to now lose that title, and now I guess reluctantly face the Bloodline along with Roman and Jimmy. But I mean, yeah. So I'm trying to think of other losers.
I got one for you because it correlates with Samantha Irving. It's kind of like a winner and a loser because of the opportunity.
Hmm?
But on the first day back at work, I gotta give Lillian Garcia a loser. She messed up a little bit. She messed
She
up.
was rusty.
She was rusty.
She was rusty.
There were a few times where she kept saying that so and so was being accompanied by other people when they weren't
Uh-huh.
even there. Like they met
Oh,
their own.
when Raquel and Liv came out with Dominic, and Dominic wasn't
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
but she also did it with LWO when it was just Selena, Dragon Lee, and Ray. She's like, "Oh, being accompanied by Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild," and I'm like,
You're like,
"The fuck."
what?
I
Where?
know, I know they say a lot of us Mexicans look alike, but I don't think they're there. I don't think
Get.
that's them. And one of them wasn't even Mexican. One of them was Filipino. They're
Exactly.
Mexican
Yeah.
adjacent. But still. But like she gets a winner because she got the opportunity. If it's something that she's going to
Uh,
be there long term, then cool. But in terms of this week, she's taking an L, and
yeah,
for
yeah.
a winner for me, I gotta give it to Morrissey Machine Guns having a clean debut and already being in that title picture on
Oh,
SmackDown. You love to see
yes,
it. You love to see
Word.
it.
yes,
I got a
yes.
loser. Carlito. Carlito is definitely a loser for going off script and getting himself in some trouble.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, which part are you talking about? The damage control part?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I gotta learn Chinese. Dog, you wild. Like,
dude.
what you doing?
You know what's so funny about that is like I don't think it came from a place that we're all thinking like some people are
Yeah.
thinking it came from. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, I don't think so.
I think the social media is definitely like bringing it to a place where I don't think Carlito meant it to take,
Nah,
right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Right? And me being Asian, I can tell you right now, the people that are upset are not Asian. I can tell you that right now.
100%.
No, I just thought he was trying to have like an R truth moment where
Yeah.
he's just like no clue as to what's
Right,
happening.
right, right,
Yeah,
But
right.
so
if
I don't.
you if
Yeah,
you're gonna have that
because
R-Truth moment, you better get that shit cleared by the higher ups before you go off script and say some shit. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Hey,
right.
I liked it.
Like
I thought it was funny.
who would Carlito talk to if you wanted to say a joke like that? Funaki, let me talk to you for a second.
Yeah. Come over here.
I'm really going to say this joke.
Well, let's say
Indeed or
this.
not indeed? What do you think? What do you
Yeah,
think?
if Io Sky and Kyrie were cool with it, then I think that's all that really matters.
Word.
Like if he went
Word.
up to them afterwards, or they cleared it with them, or somehow, then that's all that really matters. Personally, you
Exactly.
got
I mean, look. People love Yokozuna for playing a sumo. He wasn't even Japanese. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, look, Joaquin Wild, like I mentioned, he's cosplaying right now as a Mexican. He's not even Latino. He's like you said, he's Filipino.
yeah, no,
Like he
dude,
took it.
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon. There you go. There you go. Exactly.
You know.
For sure.
But yeah, but that's just our take on that. But okay, a winner for me is we're keeping on the damage control, right? For being on Raw and they were on NXT. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
They
I
they
like that.
actually like as far as like the women's tag teams on other than Team Cocoa Butter, Team Cherry Blossom has been the MVPs for the tag
Team
teams.
Cherry
I feel for the
Blossom, I
women's
love it.
division.
I love it. You mentioned that on SmackDown Raw this past Saturday, and I've popped ever since, man. You give me the break every single
Hey,
time.
hey, hey, hey.
No, I like it. I think just like the women's tag team division, late the last couple weeks have been winners, honestly, because across all three
Uh-huh.
brands, you see a lot of like strong teams being developed in given time. So I like that for sure. What
Yeah.
about you, Mike? Do you
Gotcha,
get any more
gotcha.
winners or losers?
Shit, I'm a winner. I'm going to SmackDown this week, and I'm excited to see
Hey,
DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. That's going to
dude,
be
Oh,
a
are you?
banger
that's
of a
gonna
match.
slap.
Yeah,
Shout
Oh,
out to Mike. He's a
yeah.
winner. He's a winner.
Appreciate you.
shout
Sure.
out, shout
Nah, yeah, it's going to
out.
be in the Barclays
Okay,
Center. I
okay.
try to always make these New York shows, so definitely it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Dope. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I got a
That's
quick
going to be sick.
losers. Quick loser is Paul Ellering taking that mandible claw from Uncle Howdy on Raw 2 days
Oh,
ago. And then I guess in the whole, the entirety of like Final Testament and Miz, they're losers because now they're wrapped up in this whole like Wyatt Six storyline, so they're gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a thing. But yeah,
right,
that's what I got. That's what
right.
I got for
No,
losers.
I feel you. I feel you. And like, I think like having the White Six, like even though they're not in a lot of like big storylines like they first started, just still having them to do stuff is still pretty good.
Yeah.
What up,
Shout out to
Dom?
Dom. Shout out to Dom. He said, "What's good,
Dom.
fellas? I might not make it through the stream because I'm starting to feel like shit,
Oh,
but had
man.
to show some love because you three are my winners of the week. I appreciate you, Dom.
Hey,
Hope you feel better,
shout
homie.
out, shout out, shout out. Get better,
Yeah,
get better.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't know how y'all feel about this.
Okay.
I don't know if I could give this a winner or a loser, but Obafemi had a small segment with Nikita Lyons.
Winner, winner, winner.
Winner, winner.
100% winner. I'm sorry.
Ooh, you
You
know
know what I'm
what?
saying? That segment would have me thinking like, okay, but what's gonna happen here? You know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen here?
So I
Um,
saw I saw a TikToker talk about that, like they might be starting a love angle with them, but I didn't take it that way. I kind of took it as
okay,
like he contracted Nikita Lyon for some services to take out trying to blank on her name, but like the one from the D'Angelo family.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name?
Rizzo.
Rizzo, Adriana Rizzo. Yeah,
Yeah.
because she got
Uh huh.
attacked
Yeah.
backstage prior to that segment, like a few segments ago. So
Right.
the way I interpret it is that she dropped her like rope or whatever when she made the attack, and then Obafemi, being the gentleman that he is, brought it back to her. So I think that's what it was. That's how I interpret it. I don't know about you guys.
No, hey,
Yeah.
listen. He lost a title, but he's looking to get something else around his
Yeah.
waist. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Ivan. He's saying that I don't see the circle of debate comments, but I see him. It's like my familia, what is good? El Papacito, brother Nero,
Hey.
What up?
and
What
What's
up?
good?
Papi
What's good?
Santos, what's good? He also was commenting about the Jey Uso stuff. He's saying how I had a valid point, but we'll hear his take and thoughts on it tomorrow on Circle of Debate
Okay.
as
Tune
well.
in.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, tune in tomorrow night. But yeah, okay. Like for me, I don't have that many winners and losers. I mean, the only thing that I think that's a big winner is that we're getting Halloween Havoc this weekend, right?
Yeah.
I know Circle Debate is gonna be to go watch along with the homies there.
Mhm.
Just going through a couple of the stuff that's gonna be happening. Is there any of the matches that you guys are most looking forward to? We got the North American Championship. Tony Dino Bufemi the rematch, right?
I think I'm looking forward to the most is probably that main NXT title match. Trick versus Ethan Page, especially after that
Yeah.
promo, and especially after that diss track that Ethan Page dropped on Trick
Mm,
Williams. I don't know if you guys seen it, but he dropped like a 30-second diss track.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking
no.
hilarious. Check it out.
Okay.
It's in the cafeteria. Just check it out. It's in
Okay,
there.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out
It's in
there.
there for sure.
Ethan
But
got so much charisma, man. He's always been
Oh
able to
yeah,
make
he's
people get at
money.
me. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. And as much as I like Trick Williams, I look kind of want the title back on Ethan Page already. So, I'm rooting for Ethan Page. I like the story going into it. It's the match I'm looking forward to the most, personally.
Gotcha. And we don't know. I can't remember if there was a Devil's Playground match before.
No, I was
If
trying to
they've
figure out
done
what the
that.
rules is, but if
Yeah,
it's just like a street fight, then just call it a street fight.
I think they
Right,
said that
right, right.
this is the third one ever. But then at the same time, I feel like I don't really pay attention to the match stipulations. I usually just watch the matches. Like
Right.
apparently the Tony D versus Obafemi match, it's just a TLC match, but they're calling it scares instead of stairs. It's instead of
Yeah.
chairs or whatever. So
hmm
I don't know. I think it just might be like a street fight or extreme rules match. So that's just my Austin theory on that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the one for me that I'm mostly looking forward to is the Ridge Allen Andrew Chase Amblin match. Just
Oh, the
because it was a
ambulance.
throwback
Yes.
to Shane versus Kane
Mm,
Survivor Series a while ago. That Amblin match was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
yes.
Um, so trying to see like what they do there is one of the matches I'm looking forward to. What about you guys? You guys got anything else?
Yeah, that
My
North American title matchup, because I loved their matchup a couple weeks ago on NXT television. They killed it. It was match of the night, even though they were going up against AEW. Match of the night for both shows, if you ask me. They had a hell
Facts.
of a match, great chemistry with each other. So now you make it basically a TLC matchup. Sign me up.
Oh,
Right,
100%. And I forgot to mention
right.
Tony D's the loser of the week because he got tied up like by the turnbuckle and had to watch his whole family just get taken out in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to that North American title match, especially after what happened on NXT last night that I mentioned. It has a lot of heat to it,
Yeah.
and Tony D, man, he's looking good. I want him to turn heel because I feel like he's at his best as a heel, and
Right.
that whole group is the best as a heel. But I'm looking forward to that match, and I can't wait to see it.
I think the last match for me that I'm looking forward to, obviously, is the one that I think a lot of people are looking forward. The 4-way with Julia,
Yeah,
Roxanne, Stephanie Vicure. You
no,
know
the
what I'm
tag match. It's a
saying?
tag match.
Whoo. It's a
Yeah,
tag match. Oh yeah, it's a tag match.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, for
With
sure.
all four of them women, so definitely that's like one of the matches for me that I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to. But yeah, Halloween Havoc is coming up, right?
Mhm.
Doing a couple of like last call situations. I know that New Japan's tag league is gonna be started soon. You know what I'm saying? What happened?
Sorry, I'm like paying attention to the chat and shit. Shout out to Justin from Just in Time. He got here just in time to watch the show.
Yep.
But Kyle from Apron
Hey,
Bump, He's like, I think Roxanne and Kiana had a Devil's Playground match. It's just a no DQ match with a dumb name. And then the word of Matt Ritter showed up, making an appearance. It's
Hey,
like he's saying it's not just a no DQ match with a dumb name. They have ringside accessories too. And then I'm assuming this comment is directed towards me. And he's like, first you allow slander on my show, and then now you are handing out losers. You're fired. So I'm fired from the SmackDown Raw podcast. And then it all
hell no,
correlates
hell
to Tony
no.
D too. So I'm sorry because he's got to take a loss, man. He could have gotten out of the situation because Obafemi couldn't even put the zip tie on him properly. It took him about like 5 business days to get it going. So like Tony D, if you're the Don, get out of there.
Dude, the zip tie took longer than it should have. I'm like, I know y'all sweating, but come on, man.
Bro, that's like trying to unhook your first bra. Like it took forever. like it was a mission.
What? By the way, what is the proper way to do that?
I'll just remove the variable of the bra. It's the easiest thing to do.
See, I was thinking you have to do, saying like the Acclaims type finger maneuver to like undo. Okay, anyway, that's an OnlyFans type of thing. But Vince, I think it's time what would Matt say?
Yeah, Matt says like Vince the loser of the week. He got fired on his day off. But yeah, I think it's that time.
Shout out to Matt and shout out to Kyle.
Shout out to Matt. Yeah, for sure.
But I think we should get to the reason why we're here, homie.
And now, Sweaty Session.
Yeah, that gets me every time. Especially with things going on now with the whole baby oil stuff and whatever.
Oh, the Diddy.
Yeah. It's a wild case.
It's a wild case for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why we're here, we're gonna go and do like our, top 10 wrestling storylines. PWI came out with the women's top 500 women's, right? We won't like go through the list of all that, but I agree with everybody that's on the list. Your favorite made it, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 28, whatever. All the women's are represented on that list, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with the way it went. So if in light of that, we're gonna do our own PWI Getcho wrestling storylines.
Oh yes.
Who wants to go first?
You know what, Mike? You got one? You got one? We'll let you go first, man. You're the guest here. You got to be courteous.
I mean, we're gonna go like in turns, or am I dropping all 10 right now?
We'll do rounds. We'll do rounds.
All right, cool.
We'll do rounds. Yeah.
Gotta go with the Final Boss storyline. The Final Boss storyline, when he first returned and took Cody's match, and Cody had to earn his way back, the slap heard around the world at the press conference. That shit had everybody talking. I remember going to work after that press conference, and people who don't watch wrestling is like, what happened with Dwayne Johnson? Why is he slapping that blonde guy? I'm like, that's crazy. Like, dude, I don't even know you watch wrestling. Like, so when you have a storyline that transcends pop culture like that, you have to have that on that list. So definitely got to go with that. Final Boss storyline leading into Mania. I don't know about this whole shit that they got going on right now.
Yeah.
Like, he showed up and then, like, where the fuck is he? But this April or, leading into Mania, that was peak Final Boss. That was a great storyline.
For sure.
Thanks.
Okay.
And it was. It transcended everything, too.
I'll say that. Like, I was there for one of the Final Boss moments because I was at the Chicago show where he beat the crap out of Cody outside in the rain.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I was there for that. And it was a surprise appearance, too, but he just showed up. We got a random Rock appearance. The Final Boss Rock was really good, especially, like you were saying, Mike, going into the road to WrestleMania was fantastic. For me, I kind of have to go with one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's in my personal top 10 wrestlers, and that's got to be Christian Cage. And one of my favorite storylines that he ever had was the one more match when he turned heel and he was on SmackDown. It's like, I just need one more match. It led to like a lot of really good matches and programs, especially with Randy Orton, because he had won the title like coming off Edge's retirement in that ladder match with Del Rio. And then like on the SmackDown right after dropped the title to Randy Orton, so he didn't really get a time to shine until he turned heel. It led to the moment where he spat in Randy Orton's face at Money in the Bank and got kicked in the dick and then like retained the title. So it was just funny because it became an overlapping thing for him to say, just like one more match. I just need one more match for the title, and it was probably his best run in terms of like the main event scene for Christian in WWE. So I gotta give him some love for sure.
For sure. Shout out Christian. Okay, so for me, this is kind of like two storylines combined. So
Okay.
going back, taking the Delorean and going all the way back, is that Macho Man and Jake the Snake had an ongoing storyline, right? And
Yeah.
so if you remember, Macho Man asked Miss Elizabeth, "Will you marry me?" Right? So they had that whole thing, and like they get married, right? And then at the wedding reception, Undertaker and Jake the Snake show up, and they're opening the boxes, and freaking Damien the Snake comes out of the box and ruins the whole wedding reception, right? Fast forward, right? Fast forward a couple like weeks later, Jake the Snake like somehow gets Macho Man and Randy Savage in the ring, and he takes an actual snake and has him bite Macho Man's arm.
Oh, shout out
Dude,
to
like
Damien.
as a kid watching this, it's fucking crazy. Like the camera angle was like literally in the snake's face. Like it was like, and I remember they had to like blur it out because it was like too graphic at the time. But yo, that was a wild.
It was bleeding too from the bite too, right? Like
yeah, I mean it was a real bite. That was crazy.
Like it was like a real bite, real blood came out of there. I mean, I as you know now they devenomized it
right
before they actually did it.
Oh,
but just to think, they had a wild snake like with a bunch of people. You know
but did they defang it when they got rid of like the venom, or like was it like a snake that like looked like Mole Man from The Simpsons, like without dentures and stuff? Because if that's the case, then it just might have felt like a nice little wet massage or something.
Oh no, it definitely had things because you had two puncture marks on Macho Man's arm. Do you know the story of Macho Man telling Jake the Snake that if they go through with the angle first, he wants the snake to bite Jake the Snake just to make sure like there wasn't
like,
venom or anything
before they went out there. They had a whole thing like have it bite you first.
Well, you gotta take it first, brother.
Matt says in the chat, just had a wild snake.
So, Manaconda. Okay.
Yeah. Dom is in the chat. He's saying that the story he loved that made him laugh was Cena telling Taker do something, and that was at that point that John knew he fucked up. I'm not sure which one he's talking about. This must have been earlier, right? Like earlier.
I think this was leading into their WrestleMania match when Cena kept calling him out, and then he waited for like
do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that kind of gives me that kind of gives me the vibes from like the first Scary Movie where like Mindy is like what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And the dude just like jumps and just like, what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? And he just jumps. Like that was the vibes I got from that for sure.
Oh, dude, that was from I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So what do you got, Mike?
I'm going to go back to, I think it was like 95, 96, ECW. The whole feud between Raven and the Sandman was wild.
Ooh, yes.
This was insane. Like shit that you haven't even seen up to then. You had Raven not only brainwash Sandman's ex-wife to join him, but then eventually he kidnaps his kid and brainwashes his kid to start worshiping him. Dude. You had a moment where they crucify the Sandman, where his son is right there doing Raven's pose. Yes. Like shit like that was insane. You got to put that in the top storylines just because of how controversial it was, one, and how many chances they took on that show, especially with that storyline. Because if I'm tuning in for the first time and I'm like not a typical wrestling fan, I'm like, hey, let me see what this is about. And I'm seeing a crucifixion angle, or I'm seeing some little kid talk about his daddy's a drunk and I worship Raven. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, gotta go down in history.
Mike, wasn't that also when you're talking about the crucifixion episode? Isn't that the same episode where they invited Kurt Angle and he decided, fuck ECW, I'm not coming here.
Yeah, Taz brought Kurt Angle into the ring. This right after Kurt Angle won the gold medal, and he was saying how, oh, you're a great amateur, but I'm a great professional. And they were building up to Kurt Angle versus Taz, and then once that Angle shot and they showed that on TV, Kurt Angle didn't want no part of that. He was like, I'm not gonna have my face on that show where they're showing someone getting crucified.
Ironically enough, Austin got crucified like later
Yeah.
on down the line while he was on the roster. So.
Kurt Angle was in the first match on that episode. Fuck out of here. Dude.
Oh man. Okay. You know what? Mike went back in the 90s. I'm gonna bring something in the recent memory from the last couple years, and it's the Index love story. Because I love that storyline in NXT. It was one of the last stories that ended the Black and Gold era and transitioned into NXT 2.0. Obviously, you had a bunch of fun moments where will they, won't they? And you see that in a bunch of television shows, like comedies especially, where there's the dynamic of will they or won't they get together. And I thought it was fantastic. And especially once they actually got to the wedding on the first episode of 2.0, I thought it was fantastic. Especially first time we heard Dexter Lumis talk, everybody the priest asks if anybody objects to the marriage, and then everybody starts raising their hand, and he opens up his jacket, and you see the machete or whatever, or the axe in his vest. Everybody just sits the fuck down. Obviously, leading into that, it was the beginning of, or in the middle of the Way storyline as well. So you got heel dad Johnny Gargano. You got the moments where they go to family therapy or something, and I thought that was hilarious. So, yeah. Oh, hey, JJ's in the chat.
JJ, yo, what's up, girl?
Yeah, got to get some love to the Index storyline.
No, I love that storyline. And then they were looking for the ring, right? And then what's his name? Manjaro had the ring the whole time, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was a funny segment that started 2.0.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll
be right back, guys.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I love that storyline too. Okay, I'm also gonna kind of throw it back too, right? I believe this is around WrestleMania 18, right? Booker T is looking for sponsors. So he is talking to Tajiri, right? Because Tajiri knows some connections back in Japan, and has this idea of Booker T being a shampoo spokesperson for a new Japanese shampoo line, right? So he, like Carlito, is trying to speak Japanese, and he's just messing it up. He's not getting it right. So then Tajiri is like, okay, I'm not gonna go with this. I'm not gonna go with Booker T. I'm gonna go with Edge. So that whole storyline with Edge and Booker T fighting just because one of them wanted to be in a shampoo commercial is definitely hilarious.
Definitely a top 10.
Definitely a top 10. Because the match was good. And then you're like, wait, what are they fighting for?
For sponsorship.
Yeah, Japanese herbal essence,
It's the simple shit.
Okay. What you got, Mike?
I gotta go with the whole Triple H marrying a sleeping Stephanie.
Yes.
The whole wedding storyline with Triple H, crashing the test and Stephanie wedding, and then showing the footage of them in Vegas. That was hilarious. First of all, what chapel is a drive-through chapel and is going to allow this marriage to go through with this girl who's passed out in the car, right? And then Triple H saying, it's not if we consummated the marriage, it's how many times we did it or whatever he said. That was a great storyline, especially with Stephanie being, all angry and upset and pissed off at it. And then eventually she turns her back on her dad, and we get the Triple H and Stephanie era, or the Stephanie McMahon Helmsley era or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a great storyline. That's always something that, when I think of Attitude Era, it always pops up in my head. Just how crazy that is. Who comes up with this shit? You know what I mean? Who comes up with this at a production meeting and say, hey, you know what? Instead of them getting married, what if Triple H drugged her, put her in the car, they go to a drive-through chapel? Come on.
You know what's funny? In the Vince doc, I think if I'm not mistaken, Triple H copped to being the one that pitched the idea. Yeah. So he was like, what if it's yeah, I was like, so I think it might have been Triple H as well. Edward McGuire, what's up? What's up, fellas? He says,
what's up? What's good? What's good with you?
I like how we both had wedding ones back to back.
Love is in the air.
Yeah, for sure.
I also do like that, the whole time you didn't see it coming. Also,
No.
The whole time you didn't think Triple H was part of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely top storyline.
Which is the one that you mentioned just while I was gone?
Oh, I mentioned the Edge and Booker T Japanese shampoo commercial.
Um, okay, yeah, that's one to go with. I thought you were gonna go with a different edge one, but um,
Oh,
okay, I got one. I got one.
yes, really?
No. You know what? I'm gonna go with Carlito's debut and him stabbing John Cena and getting Jesus to stab him in the nightclub and writing him off so he can go film the Marine. So I thought it was a good storyline. It built up Carlito as a devious heel from the beginning, got him hit the U.S. title on his first ever match, and
Dude.
just kind of like held the fort down. Ever since then, I'm like, you know what? Can't really fuck with Carlito. So like that's got to be a good storyline. It's up there for sure. I feel like.
For sure.
Oh yeah, and then like it also he wasn't alone, right? He had like a bodyguard too, Carlito.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
his bodyguard Jesus.
A zoo,
Jesus,
yeah.
he had Jesus. He had his Jesus on his side.
Hell
So
no.
there you go.
He used to wrestle like shiny, colorful pants and like suspenders or whatever.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. He'd fit in with the D'Angelo
D'Angelo
family
family.
with the suspenders. Oh
Just need some
man.
pinstripes on there, and he's part of the crew. Okay, so I'm gonna take it a little bit further back too. Not that far, but to me, I thought this was kind of like a storyline that some people forget even happens sometimes. But the Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family,
Okay. All right.
I think was
Awesome.
also like right around the Yes Movement part. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely was a build for Bray and for Bryan at the same time too. Like for people who weren't familiar with his work on NXT, it definitely gave him more time to shine, like on the mic, and let the people know about the Y family. Also, too, like the people that were also involved also helped them bring like shine on them. Like the Usos were also involved in this too, so they had like great tag teams with Rowan and Eric at the same time too. So like I thought that whole storyline was great.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I agree. I like it.
Yeah. I
It
agree
looks
too.
like a really good moment in the steel cage where
Yeah,
he
I was
like
gonna
Yes.
turns
say.
on them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that must be like the loudest yes chant ever. Like that crowd was going crazy.
Oh, for sure.
For
Just to
sure.
take
For
off some
sure.
clothes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was stripping for everyone.
He took off the
Shout out to
jumpsuit.
yeah. Shout out to Courtney. She's in the chat saying, "What's
Shout
up,
out,
Getcho?
shout
What's
out.
up,
Courtney.
DeLorean?" Matt was saying, if we're talking weddings, give me Lashley, Lana, Rusev, and Liv storyline. So that was a storyline that happened.
Yeah,
Man,
that was hard to sit.
for
Definitely hard to
sure.
sit through.
Um,
I'm gonna go with
What you
the
got, Mike?
storyline where Owen Hart broke Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck legitimately, and Stone
Ooh.
Cold stayed on the show and stayed relevant. He was coming out every week, hitting stunners on some authority figure,
mhm.
and also the other layer of the story where you had Owen Hart defending his IC title weekly against guys like Farouk or Ahmed Johnson, and every week Stone Cold would help Owen Hart win because he knew when he came back he wanted to take that title from Owen Hart. So I'm going to protect you and protect your title reign just because I know I want that title back when I come back to whip your ass. It was a great storyline.
It
Yeah,
was, it
for
was,
sure,
it was,
100%.
it was. Gets
Okay.
overlooked too, because that was like
Sure.
really early in the Stone Cold era, you know.
Yeah.
And shout out to Owen Hart, you know.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm gonna go with one of the ones that made me become a fan of this wrestler because I appreciated him because we're from the same spot. He's a Chicagoan, but it didn't really connect with him until this storyline, and that's the Straight Edge Society.
Mm.
Especially the early beginnings when he was just by himself and he's over here costing Jeff Hardy his job, and they had the loser lose SmackDown match because leading up to that, he was saying some out of pocket stuff, saying it's like, oh, like over here talking about how like Jeff's always in rehab. How many strikes have you had? I haven't had any zero. I have
Yeah.
0 strikes. Over here talks about like medication. It's like it's prescribed, but you wouldn't know what that is to get prescribed medication. And obviously it leads to so many things like where like they're shaving people on a week-to-week basis. He's recruiting people left and right. It felt like an actual cult, and I loved it. And then I worked myself into a shoot because I for like 10 years straight after that I was straight edge as well. And, I was doing the straight edge pledge and everything, so like I went right into the gimmick. So So that's for sure one for me. Like the Straight Edge Society is a really good one for me.
No, facts. And plus,
Sure.
CM Punk wore that. What was he like wearing the Straight Edge Society mask for a little while too?
Oh
Yeah, he
yeah,
was.
when he lost his hair.
Yeah, the fourth
Yeah.
greatest masked wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
Number four.
Hell no.
Man.
Okay, so this is kind of going back to the 80s, right? So Papa Shango, right? Papa Shango cursed Ultimate Warrior storyline. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But Papa Shango
How
and
could you
Ultimate Warrior
forget?
had a feud. Ultimate Warrior starts cutting a promo. You see like this black ooze or whatever, or green ooze come out from his hair, and he's like, Warriors! Ah! And then you look to the side, you see Papa Shango freaking pop locking, you know what I'm saying, with the smoke. And he like tries to do the Undertaker with the eyes and shit, and like you'd be like, oh shit, he's cursed. And then it leads to Ultimate Warrior freaking like throwing up like a white girl drunk, you know what I'm saying? In the ER. And he throws up like all this green oatmeal looking shit. And my dad was like, Justin, this is the fakest thing you're watching. Why are you watching this? You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my god.
But yeah, to me, I thought that was so hilarious and so wild. You know what I'm saying? Of a
It's
concept.
memorable for sure. Definitely. I'll give you that one,
Yeah.
Joe. That's a good one.
Keeping it on the topic of a parent asking why you're watching this, I gotta go with the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio angle with for the custody of Dominic.
Yes,
Bro,
Mike, you
what
got
a out of pocket storyline that was, man! Like amazing. And I remember same thing. I remember one day, you know, I'm watching at my grandmother's house, and it was the pay per view, the ladder match,
Oh no.
because I remember we used to, you know, we used to do some things to get the pay per views for free. So we had like the little black box, right?
Hey, I know what you mean.
And yeah, so we
we all know.
upgraded.
We all know.
Yeah, we upgraded to Time Warner. We couldn't do it anymore. My grandmother had the old box, so we were like going over there for pay per views. But she
Right.
doesn't watch wrestling.
Facts.
So, of course, she comes and sits down with me, and it's right before the matchup. And they're doing the whole like preview to the storyline, and he's over here like, I'm your poppy and all that, right? And my grandmother was like, what the hell are you watching? The fact that they had a matchup for the custody of a kid was insane, right?
dude.
Yes.
Dude, yes.
Insane.
But here's the thing. I think when I was watching that at the time, that might have been like 20 years ago. So, yeah, it would have been roughly 20, 19 years ago. So I would have been around 11, 12 years old. Honestly, man, I grew up watching a lot of out of the walls type of telenovelas and Rosa de Guadalupe and all these other Mexican stuff that like it honestly just felt like I was watching something my mom like one of my mom's soaps, it didn't feel out of place to me, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like I'm with you, Mike, because they had us in middle school talking. I was like, can you believe that Eddie Guerrero actually has a son and stuff like that? It's so much so that like we believed it. We believed it. I had it as my number one. I was gonna save that for last, but I'm glad you mentioned it, Mike. Thank God I'm not the only one that wrote it down.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And you know what's crazy too? Like, Eddie was really leaning into like saying some really like deep cuts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was out of pocket.
You know, even about Vicky and about like the whole marriage. Like, you know, he went there. He went for it. You know.
Oh, dude. That one episode where Vicky is getting kicked out from SmackDown by Eddie that leads into a match with Hardcore Holly. Like, I seriously thought he was gonna physically abuse her on camera. I was like, bro, like, no. And then, like, I don't like the term, but he was wearing a wife beater too, and it looked like he was gonna do it, you know. So I was like, bro, Eddie, no, man. Oh man, so it was a time for sure.
Crazy storyline.
Shout out to Will.
It was a great time.
Saying hola papis in the chat. Shout out to Will for sure.
Hey, Daddy Will's in the building. What's good? What's good?
Matt saying that the Who Attacked Aleister Black storyline is the one that had him hooked, and it actually leaned into a heel Johnny Gargano, which is one that I don't think any of us really anticipated. So that's a really good one too. I had that written down as one of mine as well. But I think I'm gonna go with since I can't go with the custody of Dominic match, I'll go with Prison Dom's storyline.
Yeah,
come
on, let's go.
In recent memory, like he goes and beats up his father on Thanksgiving. He tries to go do it again on Christmas, gets himself arrested, and then he cuts like the most hilarious promo vignettes in prison, and he gets like the teardrop
The
tattoo.
teardrop.
It leads to like the flannel. He looks like a baller from GTA San Andreas. Uh, and then obviously like it led to like the big match at WrestleMania eventually. So the President Dom, it's got to be my favorite thing for sure.
Dude, come on. Like, I mean, we're all, that's like one of our favorite Dominic Mysterio segments. He comes out of the jail as if like he's the boss, like a scene from Blood In, Blood Out, you know?
For sure, for sure.
Word.
Matt's like DX versus Vince and the Spirit Squad gave us Vince loves Cox.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a choice, Matt, for sure. That's a
Get,
choice.
get yo.
Just
Okay. So speaking of love, right? I had to bring this storyline out. Because sometimes people talk about this couple and they forget that, saying this actually happened a little bit before that. So everyone always talks about China and Eddie Guerrero, right? But what about China and Mark Henry, right?
what?
They had a storyline, right? When Mark Henry was trying to ask China out for a date and everything like that. And it actually happened, right? They went to a bar, right? And everything like that. And it's so funny because Mark Henry convinces D'Lo to be like, "Yo, can you come with me? Can you come with me? You're my best.
Wingman.
You're my man. You're my best friend." But it turns out that only he needed D'Lo to be the limo driver, right? And it's so funny because like he tries to disguise himself, but China actually knows who it is, right? They go to a bar, right? They have a good time and everything like that. Some dudes try to hit on China, and of course, Mark Henry like defends her and all this stuff. It was dope. It was dope. Of course, it led to another segment where Mark Henry thinks he's getting it on with one of China's friends. It ends up not being what he thinks. Um, so there's that also too. To me, this is one of the storylines that sometimes gets forgotten. So I had to bring it up.
Dude, I don't even remember that happening. Like,
What?
I don't even
Oh,
remember
you
that
gotta watch
happening.
it, dude. You gotta watch it.
I
You gotta
gotta, I
watch it.
gotta, I gotta watch that. Especially like,
You gotta
oh
watch
man,
it.
it
It
sounds
also
like
gets a little wild.
Yeah, oh,
It
yeah.
gets a little wild.
I thought you were talking about love angles and Mark Henry. I thought you were talking about Mula, like Mae Young and Mark Henry
Oh
giving
no,
birth
this
to a
is
hand.
before. This is
Yeah.
This
before.
before that. Okay, okay.
This is actually like kind of like what gets them to be like, let's have him be sexual chocolate. So this is even before
Okay.
sexual
Oh,
chocolate
okay,
too.
okay. So this
Yeah.
is the prelude to sexual chocolate. I see.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Matt saying the Big Daddy V, the world's largest love machine angle. And speaking of Lillian
Big-
Garcia, he was chasing after her for sure. Uh, what about you, Mike?
I gotta go with the WCW 1997, the whole angle with the NWO and Sting, where for the whole year you had Sting chasing down the NWO and coming from the rafters and
Uh-huh.
taking them all out.
Mhm.
From 96 to 97, NWO was just taking out everybody. And if they beat you up, you joined them. That's why they grew so big, right?
Right.
And Sting was the one guy who they could not get. And here's the man by himself, just him and the baseball bat taking out like 17, 18 wrestlers in the ring, all leading up to that matchup with Hogan. Now I know the matchup with Hogan at Starrcade was, not the best matchup and left
Right.
a lot to be desired, but just the build to that, you had a whole year build and something that's never been done before. You built to a matchup for a whole year where a
Mhm.
man didn't even say a word on the microphone. It was just
Yeah,
the actions that built up to that matchup. So you
Fact.
gotta give credit to that because you had everybody intrigued and you didn't even have to have a promo to get people intrigued. It was a very, very good angle.
for
Uh-huh.
sure. And I mean, the just to play devil's advocate here, we're talking about best storyline, so we're not even talking about the match.
Yeah.
Like up until the match itself, it was a really good storyline, and I'm with you there, Mike, for sure.
Facts.
Besides the
Facts.
parts where, on a weekly basis, there would be someone in a Sting mask and he would unmask in his Sting. Like, I don't know why you would ever disguise
Yeah.
as yourself, but he did it quite often where there would be a guy standing in a Sting mask. He takes off
Listen,
the mask and it's Sting.
I'm glad he did it because it gave us one of my favorite memes of all, my favorite gifs of all time. So I'm with it. I'm for it. Okay. I'll talk about something back in '05, Ruthless Aggression era. This is
Okay.
shortly after Redacted dropped the title to Randy Orton, and he became the youngest world champion in history. And I'm talking about Batista turning on Triple H and eventually dethroning him at WrestleMania
Yes.
21.
Yep.
Because
Thumbs down.
they did a slow fucking burn. So, and it was such a great storyline that it paid homage to it when Bailey was doing the turn on Damage Control. But you saw teases like Batista would stare at the title, like they'd have like matches, and like there'd be situations where Batista might win, especially in the Elimination Chamber. He got to the Rumble, he won. Obviously, that led to like the big finish of Vince McMahon tearing both his quads in the middle of the ring. So there was that funny moment as well, and then you just love to see it because it gave us the big thumbs up and then thumbs down for Batista. So I thought it was one of my favorite storylines growing up, and I got to include it here.
Oh, of course, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Number one Filipino wrestler ever, Batista, right? He made thumbs down famous. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, he did it before Sami Callihan. So shout out to Batista.
Okay, so from one great storyline to another, I have to give a shout out to the Don Marie Al Wilson storyline, right? You know what I'm saying? This is another crazy ass storyline that, you know what I'm saying, that happened in the SmackDown era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don Marie and Al Wilson, they were happily in love, right? Even against Tori Wilson's wishes, but they still did his thing. And what a great storyline, right? They fall in love, they get married, they consummate the marriage, and that's what gets him to go to the next life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
How
was just
good
a
is Don
crazy story
Marie?
arc. Huh?
That's my biggest question: is how good is Don Marie? Like it took Al Wilson's life. That's how good she is. Like
Oh man.
it's a
Definitely,
wild
definitely a
one.
storyline that needs to
It's
be
a
talked
wild one
about.
for sure, man. It's a
It
wild
is.
one for sure.
It is. What about
Um.
you, Mike? What you got?
All right. So hear me out. I'm not a fan of what they did, but we want to talk about wild angles. Got to talk about the Katie Vick angle. Triple H.
Ooh.
Triple H
Oh man.
discovering that Kane had a girlfriend and accidentally murdered her, and then we saw what happened there, right? But people forget that was that angle that led to the eventual matchup between Triple H and Kane at the Garden, where Kane had to unmask. So
Right.
I remember when I was younger and Kane unmasked, like I was only about like 8 years old. I was terrified of this man. He took off that mask and looked like a fucking monster, right? Even though it
Yeah.
was all fucking eye
Yes.
makeup and a bad haircut. Like he looked fucking horrible. And
Mhm.
yeah, so you have the crazy storyline of Kane's a murderer. He murdered his girlfriend and then he, did things with the body, whatever. But then, it leads to Unmasked Kane, which I feel rejuvenated his career for a little bit because Kane went from a monster in the 90s and then he was just kind of like floundering there. And then when he took
Yeah.
off that mask, he became a monster again. Like he was setting JR on fire. He was fucking, having that feud with
Yes.
Shane. So
Electrocuted his balls with a car battery.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, for that angle to lead into what we got with Kane, like that
Yeah.
first year without the mask, and then also that also led to the return of the Dead Man Undertaker because
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, so it was all like that was a domino effect that started a lot of cool things. So gotta go
For
with that.
sure. I'm with you. It for me, I thought that was Kane's scariest era
Yeah,
because he didn't feel like this monster. He felt like a fucking serial killer monster type
Right.
of monster,
yeah,
where it felt very real. Like you saw a man get lit on fire, like you were saying, someone's balls got electrocuted, buried the Undertaker alive. He was coming out being handcuffed in chains
yeah.
by police officers. He was crazy, man, crazy.
And
Um,
also, it also gave us one of the best like Kane theme songs too. You
Oh
know.
yeah, the Slow Chemical,
Slow
Yeah. Slow
Chemical,
Chemical.
great
Yep.
fucking song.
Yep.
top tier song for
Top.
sure.
Top. Top. And
Okay.
this is the only time that we will praise Kane, the character.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got?
Oh well, I mean, I was gonna talk about Corporate King, but never mind. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We were talking about one monster and and the great theme song that they had. Let's talk about Mark Henry and the Hall of Pain. I thought that was a great
Yeah.
storyline.
Let's go.
It really rejuvenated Mark because he was always that mid tier dude that you knew that they wanted to try to get to that main event scene, but they could never do. And once they did that Hall of Pain like story, man, he took off. He was that main event guy. Obviously, like back in that era of SmackDown, it was like Randy Orton, Christian, and like Mark Henry, the three, and Sheamus, the main four people, like fighting for that world title. And I think it made like Mark Henry like even that much better. It took him to a monster level. So shout out to him for sure. And they're kind of doing that similar right now with Bronson Reed. They're kind of like playing like some notes of that storyline. So yeah, Hall of Fame Mark Henry for sure.
No, I'm with you. Yeah. Also, too, this is kind of like a feud. I see, they're doing Andrade and Carmelo Hayes doing like best of sevens. Well, I want to throw it back to when MVP and Matt Hardy had a feud, and they were doing all kinds of competitions to try to one up each other. I mean, I remember the basketball game that they had, all the crazy ass contests, dude. Like, I didn't even care if they wrestled. I just wanted to see whatever thing that they were gonna do next. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And then it was just so funny because the comedic timing was just right there. Like, and the payoff was them being tag teams, and so
wasn't that also when Matt Hardy had a boxing match against Evander Holyfield because of MVP or some shit?
Really?
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Yeah, what? It was like Saturday night's main event. MVP hired Evander Holyfield, and Matt Hardy had to box him.
Yeah. Because the play, I think, was supposed to be MVP, and he's like, "No, I got something better." Man, Evander Holyfield. He's like, "What?"
That was crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to go with one of the best storylines, I think, in the modern time. And I think it does transcend to all of wrestling, and that's the Bloodline storyline. This is a storyline that went on for, 4+ years, going on 5 years. And there's so many layers where it keeps you interested, from the early days of just having Roman feud with Jay and trying to get Jay to acknowledge him as the head of the table, and then bringing in Jimmy with that. And then where we got with, Sami Zayn, and then you have Paul Heyman and the Wise Man. The fact that Roman Reigns defended that title for 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, the same title run. He defended at WrestleMania for 4 years in a row is insane. The fact that they were constantly able to keep more layers, that take off layers and layers and layers to keep it intriguing, to the point that now we're still, we're about to get a whole civil war between the Bloodline, and I'm still intrigued. So for something to have that type of longevity, I got to put it up there.
For sure. I mean, it had very few valleys and all the peaks. Like, I think the only valley that it had was like post WrestleMania, once Roman and Jimmy and Rock were gone, and it was just solely trying to like pick up the pieces. But like once they reintroduced Roman and Jimmy, and then now Jay, I think pedal to the metal now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, there was a slow spot where like Jimmy and Jay broke off, and then it kind of was like figuring out what they're gonna do next and everything, and but then it was a kind of like a standstill to build up to where we are now. So yeah, Bloodline storyline. Yeah, I still continue to figure out what's gonna be happening next.
For sure. For me, I think this is my 9th one, so I have 2 more left, but I have like 4 more written down. So I'm hoping Mike takes another one of mine so that all of mine get mentioned. But I'll start with an easy one here, and we haven't mentioned it, and it's probably one of the better stories of recent memory as well. Kofi Mania, the rise to Kofi Mania. It wasn't even supposed to happen, and it all happened because Mustafa Ali got injured and Kofi replaced him, got over in the gauntlet match, then the Elimination Chamber got really close, and then the rise. Obviously, you're talking about the Usos. They had that moment where like they forfeit in that gauntlet match to like keep that match for Kofi. Fantastic moment for Kofi, for just everyone. It was top tier moments for sure. It made WrestleMania 35 for me.
No, for sure, man. And the fact that he had that match with Daniel Bryan, say who was in a similar run a couple years before that.
Yeah. And that, I think what's helped add the layer was that the man that has parallels to him was calling him a B++ player.
Right.
When he was the one being called a B+ player that whole time. So I thought it was really cool. It had a lot of parallels for sure.
Exactly. No, I'm with you. Okay. So, I got all the funny ones out the way, right? So now it's time for my Lance Storm's picks. If I could be serious for a minute.
Gotcha.
we talk about this all the time. We mention it all the time. If you know, the Black Lotus Triad storyline in Lucha Underground is
Ooh.
definitely one of the best storylines in all of wrestling because it introduced Kyrie Sane, Io Shirai, you know what I'm saying, into the mix. Pentagon Jr. also was a star in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, everyone knew that Pentagon Jr. was this violent, extreme type wrestler, and the fact that he was having women do the matches with him and they were just like, going pace by pace on the same level as he was
Yeah,
just unheard of at the time, you
for
know?
sure.
And I think that's definitely the reason why WWE started to look at Kyrie Sane and Io Shirai at the time. And it definitely, I know at that part, Lucha Underground was kind of like, at a standstill at that time
Yeah.
because this was like later in the season.
Yeah.
But it still showed that Lucha Underground was a thing to watch.
Oh,
100%.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I believe this is my number 10, right? I have this down as my number
Okay.
10. I don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah. So I got to go with the McMahon Stone Cold angle that carried the whole Attitude Era. Like
Yes.
this was probably the best angle, and it was just something that you had to tune in every single week to see what Stone Cold was going to do next. Whether it was serious moments where Vince is screwing Austin at the title, or funny moments where Austin's beating him up in his hospital room. Like they're always, they always were able to keep it relevant. And the fact that Vince McMahon, not giving him any praise, but the fact that he was able to be the top heel when they needed a top heel to be the foil for Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was
Yeah.
obviously running wild and probably the biggest star in WWE history, and it also led to other feuds. It led to Austin and The Rock. It led to Austin and Taker. It led to a lot of big things for Austin in the Attitude Era. But yeah, when you think of Attitude Era, you think of the beer truck. You think of Austin, coming down with the Zamboni, or just
Yes.
Yes.
you think
Yes.
of Mick Foley and Mankind and The Rock for the world title when Stone Cold came out to that huge pop to take out the whole
Mhm.
corporation. You think of
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. All this is McMahon versus Austin. So
For
you
sure.
gotta definitely have that as like number
Yes.
one.
100%. I'm with you there, Mike, for
For
sure.
sure. For sure.
Before I give mine, Ivan here says, "Hell yeah, the best. Just that was the best. Just good one, but I still like the best storyline for Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro, revealing he's the master. That story still epic to this day.
Yeah, that matchup
Dom
was
off,
epic with the flaming table.
yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
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 Yup.
Dom saying
Yup.
Penta
When
versus
they're using
Vampiro
like the
storyline.
lights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The death match at Ultima Lucha was
Yes.
he was saying that was restaurant quality. Uh, okay, for me, I think this is my number 10, and I'm torn between three because all three I like very much. But you know what? I'm gonna go with HBK and Undertaker Saga, and
Mm.
specifically the build to their match, their second match, their rematch, and the obsession that Shawn Michaels carried to try to beat the
Mm-hmm.
streak. Because it started at the Slammies, we thought we just weren't going to see it again, and it was the first time we saw back-to-back matches. Obviously, they delivered
Right.
at WrestleMania the year prior, but then Shawn Michaels like, I could have beat you. I was this close. It leads to obsessions where it's costing his friendship with Triple H. It's costing him the titles.
Mm-hmm.
He loses that Royal Rumble and gets eliminated by Batista. Shout out to him. But he's like heartbroken,
Mm-hmm.
and you see the emotion of like, what do I do now? In that moment where he gets eliminated, leads to him costing Undertaker the world title at Elimination Chamber. So it was fantastic, and it
Yeah.
ended to it led to the end of Shawn Michaels' career, and that was the last match he's ever had, and he never wrestled ever again after that.
Facts. I don't know. I don't know any other man. It's like when Jordan was on the Wizard. I don't know who that was. Who's that?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
He
saying?
just vanished.
Yeah, hey, you know what? People don't like to count GTS canon. Crown Jewel ain't canon either. Sometimes
Hey,
Exactly.
facts.
it's canon
Exactly.
when we want to count it, but it's not canon.
Yeah, when he was bald,
Yeah,
that,
that's
that
not
was that
Shawn
was him.
Michaels.
That
That's not
wasn't
Shawn
him.
Michaels. That's Sean Hickenbottom.
Yeah,
That's Sean
yeah,
It's like,
Hickenbottom
who's that
exactly.
guy?
in the HBK costume. That's what that was.
Word.
He was
Hell no.
cosplaying.
Okay, well, since Ivan mentioned the one of my picks, the Pentagon Dark, find out who his master is, right? The Vampiro storyline. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna say an honorable mention, and I'm also gonna pick the one that I wanted. Right.
Mhm.
So an honorable mention is the Bullet Club Civil War storyline when
Ooh,
like Cody
so
and
good.
Kenny Omega and all of them were kind of feuding, and it was cool because it benefited all the promotions that they were a part of, right?
Yeah.
ROH and New Japan. So
Mhm.
you had continuous storylines from both places that, like, as a person in the audience, was like, okay, are they going to build on this storyline here at this show? Are they going to build at that show? So it's like you were kind of participating in the storyline too, because it would happen on whatever promotion they were with.
Yeah, they would do it on
So that's
Being the Elite too. So like it would be on YouTube
yeah,
and social
exactly,
media
and it
Yeah.
spawned
everywhere.
being the elite, right? And then it caused the whole the Tongas to separate themselves and come up with their own group and blah blah blah. So, but I would say that was an honorable mention because I felt like this was a bigger storyline,
Mhm.
even though it wasn't really a storyline. It kind of accidentally happened, but Nia Jax punching Becky Lynch to spawn Becky Two Belts,
Yeah,
right? Is a storyline that I felt like will always be like up there as far as like top 10 storylines or top 50 as top tens.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? The build of the man and everything like that was kind of like not seen in the women's division at all until she showed
no,
up. So it was
no, true,
definitely
bro.
one of those moments too.
For sure. Yeah.
One of the best things Nia Jax ever did in her career.
Yo, yeah.
Facts.
I mean, who could forget? Who could ever forget that dope ass image of Becky being in the stands? You know what I'm saying, with her
Mhm.
arms out, with the blood coming through her face. Yeah, dude, come on now.
Yeah,
Everyone can
I got
relate to that feeling.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So was that all of them, or we done here?
That was for me. That was 10. Yeah, that was
Okay, because I
technically
think I got
11,
to
but yeah.
10 as well.
Yeah. I had like one
Okay,
honorable mention,
okay.
but
Go
yeah.
for it.
Go for it. Go
Go for
for
it,
it.
Mike.
The early days of the Broken Hardys, dude.
Oh
That was
man!
Yes.
Oh
must
my
see
gosh!
television. And why I put that up there too is because that was during a time where TNA was very hard to sit through. It was a hard
Yes.
watch, but that
hmm
was the one storyline that really kept me compelled. I had to watch every week because you had Matt Hardy, and then the first matchup that Matt had with Jeff, and he's acting all weird and shit. Remember, it was like
hmm
it wasn't the one that Hardy compound. It was just like when they ended the show with them fighting, whatever.
Right.
And Jeff fell through, like he had like the weakest table bump or whatever. He fell through like that round table, and it led to the next week where they had like the final deletion or whatever the fuck it was called, where
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just insane. They were shooting each other with the fireworks and the lake
hmm
of reincarnation, and it just led
Like
to
Roman
a bunch of
candles. They were like Roman candles, right?
yeah,
That's what they were shooting.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh man, no.
insane. But yeah, just for the fact that kept TNA going for a long time was
Mhm.
it has to be up there. But gosh,
The broken universe, yeah,
talk about recreating yourselves after all these years.
No, dude,
100%.
come on, man. I mean, it spawned so many things. I mean, that's why you have your nickname, right, Brother Nero, right? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
No, I'm,
delete. It made a drone a character. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude. Drones were so big because you know what? I credit Matt Hardy for the popularity of drones in that era.
Exactly.
'Cause I don't think
Vanguard
drones
won.
Vanguard won.
Vanguard.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
there.
you,
I
man.
couldn't think
Yep.
of.
Shout out to you.
Shout out
I had
Vanguard.
an honorable mention too. I also had the Bullet Club written down, but I didn't have the
Mm,
Civil War. I had the
okay.
creation of Bullet Club when Prince
Ah,
Devitt started it, and it was the first time ever where they were doing like heel stuff from the States over in New Japan, and they
right.
were getting legit heat. Obviously, that led to like the ever revolving door of members, especially when Prince Devitt gets kicked out. Same day, AJ Styles gets revealed as a member. You add so
Crazy.
many different people, and then you don't. If you don't get to the beginnings of Bullet Club, you obviously don't get to that Civil War. But
Right.
and like because they did so many things where they would kick out members and then include new members. Kenny kicking out AJ, like that's what kicked him off to being that dude. Because before
Mhm.
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
he was just essentially just like a flippy dude in the junior division.
That was like the day after
Right.
Wrestle Kingdom, right? Like in Cleveland
Yeah.
Hall. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It was like the show that they do like right
Yeah. New
after that.
Year's Dash or
New
something
Year's
like that.
Dash. New
Yeah.
Year's Dash. I think so.
Yeah.
I
New Year's
believe so.
Dash. Yeah.
But I just kind of want to mention that because you mentioned the Bullet Club stuff as well. Just but my honorable mention is Punk leaves with the WWE title
Oh.
at Money in the Bank.
Of course,
because
man.
Great
get the
storyline.
pipe bomb, obviously, and that's what kicked things off. And it blurred a lot of lines. Like the match was fantastic, and then he came back, and it was just Punk against the establishment authority.
Uh-huh.
Like it
Uh-huh.
was just kind of like it was not saying it was Stone Cold McMahon, but it was the closest thing that we've had to like a rebel against the authority type of angle, with like
Yeah.
Triple H being that guy, you know. And the whole Summer of Punk was really good. His title reign, historic, obviously. I really wish they didn't do the cash in at SummerSlam with Kevin Nash and then the match with Triple
Oh
H.
my gosh.
But aside
Oh
from
my
that, there was a lot of peaks and very little valleys. But yeah, some like Punk leaving with the WWE title, thought was a great storyline
For sure. Yeah.
no, dude, those are dope. Those are dope.
for sure.
Guys, this is the part of the show where we plug ourselves. But I gotta say thank you, Mike, for coming on here
Thank
and
you.
participating in all that we do. Why don't you go ahead and plug your shows, homie?
Yeah, man. Nah, this was a blast. Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. Wrestling DeLorean podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all audio platforms. We have a YouTube. We have episodes on YouTube, but I might go a different direction with the YouTube. You can catch me on Circle Debate most Thursdays. Monday,
Yeah,
we have Raw Dogging with De Niro, Dom, and Friends with Benefits, where we watch
Shout out.
Monday Night Raw. So check that out. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Wrestling DeLorean Pod, TikTok at Wrestling DeLorean Pod, and X at W_DeLorean Pod.
for
Shout
sure, for
out,
sure.
shout out, shout out.
Shout out to Mike. Go ahead and check him out. Check out his stuff. Great people, man. Like honestly,
Appreciate you.
first time podcasting with you. It's a joy, and we gotta have you back on for sure.
This was a blast, man.
Facts.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. As for me, just you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince, but I encourage everyone to instead go to at 606 Universe on all social media and all audio platforms. That's my wrestling basketball podcast. We have 5 episodes up. I've collaborated with Just on those, talking about Derrick Rose. And I've been with Kyle from Wallet Media as well. We did some power rankings for the East and the West. So those episodes are up right now. Just search up at 606 Universe on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. We're available everywhere. Follow me there.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, all those episodes are dope. Definitely give Mike a follow as well. Great content. You can find me Get Your Podcast on Twitter, Get Your Podcast on Instagram. You can also find me Works and Mics every other Thursday. Guys, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Check out Marks and Mike's episode, Culture Class. We did an interview with AJ Francis, aka Top Dollar. So check that out. It's up, it's out there. Guys, if that's it, then I think it's time to bounce.
All right. Later, y'all.
You know what I'm
Good.
saying?
Thank you so
Konnichiwa,
much again.
bitches.